Hi everyone, thanks for taking the time to join us for this panel discussion. So I'll just go straight into it. When we're looking at some of your companies, right, for practice, when I look at a company online, the keywords that come up are simple, efficient, reliable. When I search on Bababos, it's keywords like ease, access, flexibility, and when we look at Imajin, it's quality, capacity, seamlessness. These are all keywords that it seems to be a recurring theme within this SME and manufacturing space. I just want to let each of the founders share a little bit about what are some of the problem statements. Adrian, how about you go first?
Okay, thank you, Zhengyi. Thank you, all the audience. Thank you, East Ventures, for having me here. So just quick introduction about myself. My name is Agil. I'm CEO and co-founder of Praktis. Praktis is operating systems for direct-to-consumer brands and manufacturing. Now we focus on the fashion and beauty industry. So basically addressing your question is, essentially we are dealing mostly with SMEs. And digitalizing SME in Indonesia is always tough. It's always tough. And I think if the landscape of the industry in Indonesia is a bit different to other countries like China, Europe, or even the US, because if you just have technology solutions, it's not easily adopted to all the players easily. So what we did is basically we are trying to get kind of success stories from some SMEs, and it gives us the flexibility and to attract more SMEs to join. So that's the idea of what we are building. So not only focus on building a platform, but we also enhance that the ecosystem works and ensure that all the ecosystem, the players in ecosystems do business each other.
Fajar, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Fajar. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Bababos. We are a credit-first supply chain platform. We provide raw materials for small and medium business. They are manufacturing in steel or polymers and chemicals. So the way we see things is in a B2B supply chain in manufacturing. These SMEs have financial and commercial problems, right? So as the small guy in the supply chain, they have to buy in cash and kind of produce it with their own capital and then get paid only later on by the bigger buyers. And that creates a working capital issues for them. Commercially, because of the kind of small, they don't usually meet the MOQ, minimum order quantity, to procure directly from the producers or the tier one distributors. So that's where we come in, and we provide both. We give direct access. They can buy from us directly, where we source directly from the producers, as well as we extend credit to them. So that's how we help essentially.
Okay, thank you everyone here. My name is Zhengyi Zhu from Imajin. So Imajin is actually an aggregator that connecting manufacturers to the smaller manufacturers. So currently, most of our customers came from middle and large manufacturers, like tier one of Toyota or Daihatsu. And at this time, we're focused mostly in automotive parts and electronics and also another packaging parts as well. So what we do is actually we're helping them to sourcing the right partners. We're helping them to find the right manufacturers with the spatial that our SME strength in Indonesia. So actually we have so many SME, over 4 million micro and also small manufacturers in Indonesia. But to sourcing for a big player is so difficult. That's why we're helping them by giving the quality assurance, we're giving them the capacity that they need. So it's actually the right words that you already mentioned, right?
Yeah. So it seems there's a recurring theme where it's about empowering a lot of these SMEs. It's about helping them connect to the right partners. So post-COVID, we've seen a pretty big trend a lot of the demand for manufacturing supply has been shifting away from the traditional countries such as China, right? You have even the big boys such as Foxconn setting up manufacturing plants outside of China. Vietnam and India do come to mind. I just want to know how you play a part in elevating Indonesia as an option for international manufacturing demand. How are you empowering the SMEs within Indonesia in order to meet some of this potential demand that may come here and helping them capture this potential future demand? Perhaps Chendi, you go first this time.
So from my perspective, that Indonesia is one of the great destination for manufacturers, like the BYD, you know, just invest in here, very big plant. Recently, Hyundai. For me, I mentioned about automotive because that's my strength. So why they do build a very massive manufacturers in here if they don't believe in the SME itself? So, but these guys need to support. These guys needs these guys needs to connect with these SMEs, right? Of course, they will have their own options, but other than them, we need to help them. That's why the role of Imajin is actually becoming their partners to find the right partners, manufacturers with the high quality, with the right capacity and the capability as well. So we are playing a very important role to, first is actually helping them to verifying the partners, because it's a very tough job to find manufacturers. It's not easy to find them by capacity, capability, and other things. So with Imajin, we already have on our list in the platform. So it's easier for them to connect. And then the other thing is actually we want to make sure that their delivery time, all this, because the supply chain in the automotive itself, they cannot be stopped. Will be a big problem if they stop line. So we need to make sure all the mass productions that we help them every month is actually punctual with the right quality and so on. So this digitalization really needs what the SME needs and also the big players needs as well.
Roger?
Yeah, I think and the change from China to Indonesia mostly happens on the corporate side, right? So it's kind of bigger company, China investing like big US dollars. But the supply chain of the manufacturing does not exist in zero, right? This is a very long supply chain where there's a lot of SMEs supplying the spare parts or other tools, etc. Now, with the increased manufacturing from these big guys, that means also there is an increased demand from the suppliers, right? The vendors, and this is where all the SME comes in, and that's a good news. Definitely, it's a high demand, but at the same time, that also exacerbating the already problematic access to capital, the access to the raw materials, because suddenly it's not the small gap, it's big gaps, right? But this is a good problem, right? Because there's demand, and on our research, the capacity of the production capacity of our SMEs actually only at 40%. So that means there's a lot of leeway to just, like they have the manufacturing, they have the machine, the people is there. I mean, usually these are daily people, they can come by anytime. So whenever there's an order, they can just like beef up the capacity. So it's a good thing for us, the good demand, and just providing that access and ease of working capital elsewhere and raw material that will make them able to serve the incoming demand.
Yeah, okay, so elevating Indonesian manufacturing to becoming manufacturers of the world, I think from our perspective, the main misconception about most of people thought that why China is becoming the manufacturing of the world. A lot of people say it's just because of the competitive in pricing. I mean, partially true, that's true. They are so competitive in pricing, that's right, but it's not the only factor. Yeah, and the competitive in pricing and all the competitiveness of the Chinese manufacturing is because of, first of all, is because of technology. The second one is because of the productivity. And why they can achieve that set of standards? Because they're already different level compared to us. And that's the problem of Indonesia. I mean that if you're saying that because of the COVID and everything regarding all of the global problems, supply chain problems, shortage of container, where a lot of business pull out their manufacturings from China to outside China, I think there's an opportunity for us to grab the momentum, but we have a lot of homeworks. And those homeworks can be helped by practice, I would say. Because that's the idea of we build our technology to elevate the set of standard of manufacturing in Indonesia through platform, to technology, to best practices. And it's not that we believe that we can achieve those kind of standards, because if you know, and maybe if you're not familiar with that, all big brands, all big companies basically doing the manufacturing in Indonesia. For example, if Chandy has a very good experience in automotive, maybe in a fashion is my role. So Nike and Adidas, some of the biggest brands in the world basically manufacture their products in Indonesia. So, and if you look at the data for fashion product, Indonesia is always become top 3 country exporter products to the world. It means what? It means that we have the capability. But the problem, the capability cannot be copy-pasted to others. Why? Because all the technology, all the standardization is basically managed and controlled by the principal. And how about the others? How about the manufacturers? How about the sectors that cannot be captured by those global brands? They cannot do anything because they need to invest a lot. If we're talking about technology, there must be a lot of investment involved. And those players who already have a set of standards, who already deal with principle, cannot help the other players because they're basically kind of engaged by agreement. So that's the value that we want to ensure in our ecosystems. And we believe that in the near future, we can elevate the quality of manufacturing practices in Indonesia.
That is super interesting, actually. I want to double click in each of the points you mentioned. So, Chandy, you mentioned about it's about that supply chain reliability, because it's so globalized, the supply chain, right? Tier 3, Tier 2, Tier 1 manufacturers, and then what Adrian mentioned, the principles that manage each of the suppliers, and how it is about uplifting and increasing productivity of the different tiers of suppliers. And Fajar, you mentioned about providing them with the right financing, allow them to increase capacity, to function at the top capacity. I just want to also understand, what are some of the success stories or examples that you have worked with across your respective sectors? What are some of the companies you have worked with, and you can showcase that you have increased or improved the way how SMEs are doing manufacturing. Fajar, perhaps you?
Yeah, maybe one or two examples. I mean, there was this guy in the video before. He produced just plastics for security seal. So this is a plastic where you put into either lock the ATM if you have an ATM machine, or it's locked into the truck boxes. So it's sealed, means it's never been opened. It's very simple. Apparently, it's a high value product, very niche. So it's very simple to make. It's just a machine with a casting of the plastics, and then there's a laser printing after that. So nothing much to it. And before with us, they have to do everything themselves, right? They do have orders actually, because when you have something like this, the orders comes from a big company. Obviously, a small company doesn't need security seal, and he cannot produce it because he just don't have the capacity, not the machine capacity. He has more capacity that he needs, but he just can't produce it because there's no raw materials, because he has to pay cash, and they will pay later on in 30 days. So we provide them with it's a block copolymer. It's a very specific types of polymers, and we provide them with flexible payment terms as well, so they can pay us when they get paid from the buyers. And by doing so, they can produce to the maximum level of the machine, and right now in 6 months, they grow by 3x in terms of revenue just by maximizing the machinery. And now, from the profit that they get because of the increase, they have been able to save up to buy new machine, which is now still being installed. So that can double his even already triple capacity. Yeah.
Okay, from my side, from my story is, I think, success story related with SMEs from practice scenarios, practice ecosystem. We help two sides of SMEs. So the first side is basically the buying side. We are dealing with a lot of the digital native and direct-to-consumer brands, while the second set of SMEs is in the manufacturing side. So some success stories I want to share is regarding what we can supporting the brand side, while it is indirectly helping the manufacturing. Why? Because if I'm not seeing a lot of Indonesian ladies who plays TikTok in Indonesia here, yeah. So, but if you're very familiar with TikTok shop in Indonesia, there is a brand named Fashion Today. It is one of the top biggest seller fashion brands owned by Indonesian celebrity Alice Norin. They can grow, so they started collaborating with us 3 years ago, and within the collaboration, they grew 50+X within 3 years. And she said to me that Agil is basically a lot of celebrities can sell very well, even bigger and even more interesting than me. But majority of them cannot convert the sales that is basically booked in the platform into revenue. Why? Because we are kind of influencers that cannot manage business, especially operations, because operations is hard. So by partnering with Praktis, you will ensure that all the sales I made in the platform can be converted into revenue directly. So by helping those brands, then indirectly we can help the manufacturers that the order must be grown, right? Because we ensure that the buyer can basically growing in a multiple levels. The second story is I'm talking about Brodo, a shoe footwear company started in Bandung. We help them to improve the utilizations of working capital. Why? Because majority problem of the brands today is 70 to 80% of their stocks are basically ended with dead stock or slow moving items. Through technology that we know what is the item is best selling for you, which is becoming that stock, so don't repurchase the that stock one. It helps the brands can plan the assortment better. By having a better assortment planning, meaning they can purchase more to the manufacturer as well, while the working capital is reduced significantly. Yeah, so I think that's some of the stories that we can share.
So yeah, the success stories from Imajin is actually related again with this automotive manufacturing. So comment to the Agil and Fajar's recently regarding productivity. There are a lot of SME in Indonesia with so many machines, but the productivity is low. Why? Because most big players is the one who have the demand.
Please come forward to the center of the stage for a photo. Yes. 3, 2, 1. Another one. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Another one. 3, 2, 1. Yes. 3, 2, 1. Wait. Now another one. 3, 2, 1. One more. Yes. Thank you. All good. Thank you very much.